Hey, mighty men and women of God, welcome to Real Men Connect Live with Dr. Joe on Facebook. I'm the creator and founder of Real Men Connect. We're a 501c3 faith based organization that helps men win at what matters and even frustrates them the most as husbands, as fathers, and as spiritual leaders in their home. And guys, we do it through community, we do it through connection, coaching, and counseling. And that's not just a great alliteration, that was intentional. We do it through community connection, coaching, and counseling. And we do it with a Christ centered biblical focus. So everything we do, we try to father filter it. So we're making sure that we're standing on the firm foundation of God's word. Now, most people know us through our Real Men Connect podcast, where I interview men of faith about manhood and leading their families well. And our podcast can be found on any podcast platform. And we're now the number one rated show for Christian men on Apple Podcasts with more than 1.8 million downloads in 136 countries. Man, I tell you, God is good. So if you ever get a chance, make sure, please check us out on any podcast platform where you can find us. And I try to come on here on Facebook Live every Friday about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is, and to give you a glimpse at just some of the things we try to train and talk to men about when it comes to living life. And these topics usually come from the men that I coach, the emails that I receive, and the questions I'm asked by women, by even women who love and support us as men. And so this is my chance of kind of coming out of the bubble and also giving women a chance to come on here because I primarily work with men, well, probably pretty much exclusively, unless I'm working with the wives of the men. But I primarily work with men, and this is my chance to come out of my comfort zone, to get outside of our ministry, our organization, to give you a glimpse at what we do. Now, also, if you happen to come on live, please let me know that you're on so I can give you a shout out. Let me know where you're from. A lot of you, some of you guys come on here on a regular basis, so I know who you are, but I still would like to give you a shout out. So please, if you come on, let me know that you're coming on. And I'm making sure I don't have any technical difficulties. I tell you, Facebook is always changing stuff that they're doing on Facebook, so I got to make sure I'm not screwing something up. And guys, anything that you need to know about contacting us, you can find it pretty much in the description. Now, let's talk about today's topic. And hopefully, this won't be a long discussion. Sometimes I get long winded, which is an understatement, but hopefully, what I'm sharing with you is going to be really good. And I think this is going to help you. This is a simple topic. It's called, and I called it, what did I name this? I called it, the 4 proven ways to be a man of your word. So, we're going to talk about today about being a man or woman of your word, of your word. But I want to set this up and at least to give you some context to make sure that this is relevant to you, that it's impactful, that it makes a difference to you. So I'm going to ask you some rhetorical questions. You don't have to put anything in the comments or anything. I just want you to think about some of these questions. First of all, are you a man or woman of your word? Who do we have joining us? We got Thomas is joining us from upstate New York. What's happening, Thomas? How you doing, brother? And I need to make sure because I'm not good at checking the comments, so I keep looking back and forth to make sure I don't miss anybody. Because I really do want to acknowledge you when you come on in the morning because I don't care. You know, the Bible tells us that if two are gathered, one or two, two or three are gathered in His name, there He will be also. So when I know we have at least one person on here and I'm here, that means God is present as well. So if you come on, please let me know that you're coming on. But are you a man or woman of your word? Are you a man or woman on your word? Now, I know that's a vague question, so let me get a little bit more specific. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 to 10, are you a person who can be depended on? Are you a person who can be depended on? Now, these are just rhetorical questions. You don't have to put anything in the comments or the chat. I just want you to think about it. Because to me, it seems like a simple topic, but it really carries a lot of weight, and you're going to see what I mean. And hopefully, it's going to be like the other topics we cover. There's going to be a huge blessing to you. Matter of fact, I think I might even record this for as a devotional on our podcast that goes out to 136 countries. So I think this topic is that important. Also, let's get even more specific. I want you to think about the last 10 things you said that you would do. The last 10 things you said you would do. I don't care how big it was, I don't care how small it was. But how many of those things did you actually do and follow through on? How many did you actually do and follow through on? I'm talking about things you said to your husband, to your wife, to your child, to your siblings, to a parent, to a friend, to a coworker, to an acquaintance. Think about the last 10 things that you said you would do. I don't care how big or small, and just ask yourself, how many of them did you actually follow through on? Did you pray for them like you promised you would pray for them? You know how we do that all the time? Brother, I'm praying for you, man. I'm going to pray for you, sister. Did you actually follow through and actually pray for them? Did you show up on time like you said that you would? Did you show up on time? Did you give them what you said you were going to give them? Oh, my girl Z is on here. Z, thanks for joining us this morning. Z is my assistant, and she's being trained right now. And I'm glad, Z, I'm glad you made it on here. And Z, I'll be meeting with you after this. But but you'll get a taste of what we do, and hopefully we'll start bringing even more women on here, Z, just like you. We have regulars of women who come on here, but I always like seeing women come in because they need to understand us better, Z. And I'm thinking that this will. So let me go back to these questions. Now, we asked you about the last 10 things that you said you were going to do, that you say you're going to do. Did you follow through on those things? Did you pray for that person you promised to pray for? Did you show up on time like you said that you would? Did you give them what you said you were going to give them? Did you do for them what you said that you would do? You know what you said. Did you do it? Did you deliver on what you said you were going to deliver? Or are you still waiting on to deliver it to them? Did you deliver? Did you pay them back what you said that you owed them that you would pay them back for? Now, I can go on and on, but you're getting the point. Think about the last 10 things. These are just rhetorical questions just to set up the topic, and you'll see how important this thing is. I want you to think about it. Are you known for being a person who finishes what you start? Are you a person who's known for finishing what you start? Or are you better known for a person who starts stuff but never finish and never follow through? Just good intentions. In other words, when you give your word to someone, do they treat it like a promise or more like a political statement? When you give your word to somebody, do they look at that as, wow, if Z said it, it's a promise. I know she's going to do it. Or when she says it, is it more like a political statement? Well, she may do it until she gets elected, then she might change her mind. You know what I'm talking about. Now, the reason why I'm discussing this topic, because I told you a lot of these come from questions I get asked, from emails, but also from the men that I coach. Now, you guys know, if you've been following me for any amount of time now, you always know what we do at Real Men Connect, but we also have a group of men in our exclusive club called the Real Men 300. And so people participate in our ministry. This is an extension of our ministry. But some guys go to the next level and they join our organization to be part of our membership called the Real Men 300. And the reason why men join the Real Men 300 is a lot of different reasons, but the main reason why men join the Real Men 300 because they're tired of doing life alone. They're tired of doing life alone. They want a brotherhood. They want to be in a community of godly men who are pursuing the same goals that they're pursuing. So it's no different than being on an athletic team. You may come from different backgrounds, but if you're playing football, you want to win the Super Bowl. These men want to win the Super Bowl for God. And so they come together in their brotherhood. They also want to become better husbands, better fathers, better men of God, and be the men that God called and created and made them to be. And they come because they want to be held accountable. They want to be held accountable. But here's the hard truth about the Real Men 300, and I hope this doesn't discourage you from joining because we have a really good group. My girl Mika's on here. Hey, Mika. I see Jamie is on here. Hey, Jamie, what's happening? Jamie's a Real Men 300 member. But the reason why, but here's a hard truth that I tell Real Men 300 members, and Jamie will attest to this as well, that what we have set up in place to help men be men who keep their word, men who become the husbands, fathers, and spiritual leaders that God has called and created to be. We tell them this, that if you are faithful to the process of what we've put in place here for you, we're almost pretty much guaranteed to elevate you as a man. We're going to elevate you as a man, pretty much guaranteed, if you're faithful. But the Real Men 300 is going to either elevate you as a man or, wait for it, is going to expose you as a man who just has good intentions, but no follow through. Did you hear me? So our ministry, in a sense, well, I shouldn't have to apologize for it. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm glad that we do it that way. We either elevate you or we expose you. Simple as that. We either elevate you or we expose you as being fake, being a fraud, and just having good intentions. So we want men to become men of their word. So the reason why I'm bringing you this topic this morning is because we had a call from I do coaching calls and I do counseling with guys, and one of our members asked a question, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but this is the gist of it. He says, Dr. Joe, the Real Men 300 really is exactly what you said it was going to be. And man, I'm enjoying it. And man, it's really helping me. He said, but Dr. Joe, I got to be real honest with you, man. He said, I just stopped doing what I know I needed to do. He said, I was doing it and then I just stopped. Can you relate to him? I was doing what I know was good for me, but I didn't keep doing it. I stopped doing it. I know I gave you my word. I was going to do it. I get God, and I just stopped doing it. How can I be held more accountable to the Real Men 300? That's what he wanted to know. That was his question. How can I be held more accountable to the Real Men 300? Basically, what he was asking is, how can I keep my promise to myself to do what I said I was going to do and to do what I know I need to do? That's why I'm bringing you this topic this morning, because all of us can relate to that. How can we keep a promise to ourselves to do what we say we're going to do and what we know we need to do? Now, maybe you don't have a problem with this, but what I'm seeing from the guys that I mentor, that I coach, the emails that I get, the calls that I get, this is a problem, us keeping our word. All you got to think of is New Year's resolutions. Enough said, all right? So I'm going to show you 4 proven ways this morning, 4 proven ways that's going to help you be a man and woman of your word, to keep your word to yourself, to God, and to others, all right? Now, I just made up the term, but I call it the accountability ladder. And so what I'm telling you, so it's not just 4 things, they're a step-by-step process. Now, here's the thing. You don't need all 4. This is a ladder process. In other words, do this. This should solve the problem. If that doesn't work, do step 2. If that doesn't work, do step 3. And if it all else fails, do step 4. Now, let me warn you, you don't want to get to step 4. You don't want to get there. But if you have to, if you're hard-headed, like most of us are, you may need to go all the way up the ladder. But I'm hoping and praying that step 1 will do it. All right. That's God's best, is step 1. But there is a step 4, and hopefully none of you. Now, I got to tell you, I've been past step 1. Now, no, I've never gotten to step 4. I've never had to do step 4, but it's on. But I know I don't want to do step 4. But the main objective is to get you to follow through and to keep your word. So let's go through what I call the ascension ladder. Let me make sure I check to see if I'm not missing anybody. Kareem has joined us this morning. Hey, Kareem, what's happening, brother? Kareem is a Real Men 300 member. You know, guys, I'm telling you, I love seeing my Real Men 300 members on here, but I really want to see people who are not in the Real Men 300. Now, I'm not telling you, Kareem and Jamie, not to show up. That's great. But I want you guys to share what we're sharing today with the guys who are in your circles who are not part of the Real Men 300, because they need to hear this too. We're not the only ones. They need to hear this too. Let's start with step number 1. All right, y'all ready for this? This is what I call the accountability ladder. And it's simple. Proven steps, but they're simple. You know I'm not going to do anything that's super complicated. Everything I do is going to be super practical. Here's step number 1. Make a decision. That's it. Now, you know I'm going to explain it. But make a decision. Now, if you have to write this down, do it. Make a decision. When I say make a decision, this is an internal commitment and an agreement that only you and God know about. Let me say that again. When we say make a decision, this is an internal commitment. That's the key word. Commitment and agreement that only you and God know about. Now, notice what I didn't say. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I didn't say make a choice when you want to keep your word. No, make a decision to keep your word. See, a choice is not a decision. A choice is just a choice. See, when we choose, when we make a choice, guess what? We can change our minds about the choice. I changed my mind. I don't want to do that anymore because you just chose. And now you're choosing different. But when you make a decision, you have to commit to a decision. We're making a commitment. I decided. I decided. You're going to make a commitment to that decision. See, make a decision about the kind of person that you're going to become, not a choice. Make a decision, a commitment to the kind of person you're going to become. Make a decision about the kind of person you want to be known for being, not a choice, a decision. Now, I know this sounds like just semantics, but I'm going to give you the word of God that shows you about making a decision, a commitment, and how serious God says it is. Not to choose, but to make a decision, a commitment, a commitment. Make a decision about the kind of person that you want to be known for being. Are you going to choose to lose weight? Yeah, we're going there. Or are you going to commit to losing weight? There's a difference. Are you going to just choose to lose weight, or are you going to commit to losing weight? Do you just want to write a book, or are you going to commit to writing a book? Matter of fact, give me a shameless plug for my book. I forgot to mention to you guys too. Father's Day is coming. Get Man Accomplished. Get Man Accomplished. You guys can get it at Amazon. You can go on our website. Great gift. Make a decision. Don't choose. Make a decision to bless that father in your life, that brother in your life, that sibling, that uncle, that cousin, that kid you're mentoring, a man who needs help. Bless him by giving him the gift that just keeps on giving. But are you just thinking about, see, there was a time I just wanted to write a book, but then I had to commit to writing a book. I had to commit to over a year of writing this book, a year. So do you just want to, or are you committing? Are you just thinking about getting the help you need for your trauma? Are you just thinking about it, or are you going to commit to getting the help that you need, making a decision to get the help that you need? Do you just need accountability, or are you going to commit to having accountability? Now, the truth of the matter, remember I said these are ladder steps, that this should be enough for you to become the person of your word, a man or woman of your word. This should be the easiest level, because this challenges us to be true to ourselves. It challenges us to be true to yourself. You're making a promise to yourself. That's where it starts. So this should be the easiest thing to do. At this level, you're not just, if you don't keep this commitment, you don't make this decision, and you don't keep your word to yourself at this level, you're not just breaking your word to yourself and others possibly, but more importantly, you're breaking it with God. See, this is a really serious step, but it's the easiest step and the first step that God wants us to take, so we don't even have to get to the other steps. But we're breaking a promise, not only to ourselves and possibly potentially hurting other people if we don't follow through, we don't do what we say we're going to do, but also we're breaking our word to God. And what Z put out there, how do I go from choice to commitment? Oh, Z, that's why you're here. We're going to talk about that. This is going to get it from choice to commitment. You'll see how we're going to do it. That's why now, if we were keeping our word to God, Z, it would stop right here. But we are hard-headed. We are hard-headed. So I'm going to show you how, if this doesn't work, then how to get to the next level of the commitment so it becomes more of a commitment. Hopefully we won't have to get to the rest, but sometimes it does. But let me finish up this point and show you what the word says about it. This is so important. And this came from Jesus. Now, not one of the apostles. This came from the word of Jesus. And you guys are familiar with this scripture. And it's Matthew 5, 36 and 37. I believe, yeah, Matthew 5, 36 and 37. And Jesus said, and do not take an oath. In other words, don't give your word by your head. All right. In other words, oh, I'm going to do this. I promise you, I'll pray for you. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'll deliver that. Yeah, I'll pay you back. Yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of that for you. Jesus said, do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. But check it out. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Now, we know that part. He said, let your yays be yays, let your nays be nays, let your yes be yes, let your no's be no's. But check out the part that freaks me out is what it says after that. He says, anything more than this comes from evil. Anything more. And when he says anything more, you ever notice how we'll tell somebody we're going to do something and we say we're going to follow through and they say, really, can I trust? And you say, I give you my word. Man, God is my witness. Man, I promise you. Man, on my blanky blank life. See, he said, no, let your yays be yays and your nays be nays. If you say yes, do it. If you say no, don't do it. But keep your word. Thou shalt not lie. But he says, if you don't, wow, this comes from evil. So when we say we're going to do something, we're making a promise to God, level one, step one. I'm making it to God. I'm making it to myself. Only God and I know if I mean it. But what if it doesn't work? What if it, like you said, Z, man, he said, please, James said, Matthew 5:36 and 37, Jamie. Matthew 5:36 and 37, I believe so. Double check that for me, but it's Matthew 5:36, 37. Let your yeses be yes, your no's be no's. Anything you go beyond that is from the evil one. Oh my goodness. That itself should get us to pause before we say we're going to do something. All right? That we don't plan to follow through on. Man, when I tell people I'm going to pray for them, you know what I do? I pray right there. I'm talking about soon as if I text you and I say I'm praying for you, I'm praying right after I text you. Because I know me. I know me. I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna forget. Something's gonna happen. Life happens. So I gotta commit, make a decision to commit in the moment. In the moment. By doing it soon as I said I'm going to do it. So Jesus tells us this is important. Let it be that. You say you're gonna do it. But a lot of us don't. So Z, how do we get past that to a commitment? If we can't handle the commitment at the first level, what can we do? And the Bible speaks on that too. But here's the way that you start. All right. Here's the way that you start. Trust and tell. We said the first step is to make a decision. The second way to make a commitment and to keep it is to trust and tell. Reach out to someone who you can trust and tell them specifically what you're going to commit to. So if I said I'm going to pray for you, the one way I can make myself, now I do it as soon as I want to stay at that first level, I'm going to just do it immediately. But for some reason, if I won't, I'm going to tell somebody I trust, hey, I'm going to pray for Jamie. Please hold me accountable to that and ask me, did I do it? So you have to trust and tell somebody, reach out to someone you can trust and tell them specifically what you want, you're going to commit to, and ask them to hold you accountable to it. Now, I don't care if it's to lose weight. I don't care if it's to spend more time with God. I don't care if you're trying to start a business. I don't care if you're trying to be more present with your children or even to stop making excuses. But you got to tell someone. Tell someone you can trust. I'm not talking about just telling everybody or anybody. No, somebody who you know keeps their word. And we got Eric has joined us. Hey, Eric, what's happening, brother? And I'm still waiting for you to join us back in the 300, man. Don't let me go there. But this is what we see. We need to be held accountable. See, a lot of times, even with stuff like this, guys, we come in here once a week, and a lot of these guys who come here, who still haven't joined our community, you know what ends up happening? Oh, well, I'll go to church once a week on Sundays. Oh, I'll listen to Joe on Fridays. We're trying to piecemeal commitment. But what we're really afraid of is having somebody hold us accountable to it. See, it's easy for you to listen to me on a Friday. But do you have somebody holding you accountable for this on Saturday? You have to be able to trust and tell somebody you can trust and put your butt on the line for it. Now, I'll give you an example. In the Real Men 300, what we do, we have something called a best man, A best man. Now, the reason why we call it best man, remember for those who've been married, you know that when you get married, you have a best man. And now we can't find that joker now that we're going through struggles in our marriage, right? So when I created the Real Men 300, I created something called a best man. It's where we personally assign a person to you to be your best man. These are guys who I trust. These are guys who've been trusted by our community and they've been recommended as the most trustworthy, reliable people in our organization. So we don't just haphazardly pick a best man. We pick them because they can be depended on. They're going to keep their word. You can rely on them. And if they're not, then guess what? I'm going to hold them accountable. And we hold each other accountable. But I assign them to every guy who comes into our group. And the best man's job is, guess what it's to do? Not only hold them accountable, but to keep checking on them to make sure that they get the help that they need. If they need prayer, if they're struggling with something, they'll make sure if they said they're going to set a goal, did you do it? That's the best man's job. That's his role. That's his responsibility. So if you want to go, if making a decision isn't enough for you, you just can't keep your word to God and you're breaking your word to other people, then trust and tell someone you can trust to hold you accountable to making that commitment to keep your word. Who do you know that believes in you and won't let you give up on yourself or your dreams or your faith? Who is your go-to person for you who won't just stand by your side? Because we know we got a lot of people who just, man, I'm on your side. I'm not talking about just somebody who just stands by your side, but somebody who will also get in your face and challenge you when you need to. So see, you're talking about how do you make that commitment? Get somebody who you know. See, we made a promise to God in the first step. But guess what? We don't see God, so we'll break a promise to God. There's a difference between breaking a promise to God, which should scare the weebie-jeebies out of us, but for some reason it doesn't. But it's another thing when we don't want somebody looking at us funny because we don't keep our word and we don't keep our promise. And so you got to reach out to tell somebody you trust who's your go-to person. Who's that person who's not only going to stand by your side, but get in your face and challenge you? Who's that person who won't let you give up on yourself, on your dreams, on your faith? Now, the Bible tells in Ecclesiastes 4, 9, and 10, which is one of my favorite verses, which I don't think we quoted enough, especially when it comes to accountability. It says in Ecclesiastes 4, 9, and 10 that two are better than one. Two people are better than one because they have a good reward in return for their work, their labor, their effort. For if one should fall, well, put it this way, one should fall. If one falls, there's another to lift him up. But woe, I love that part when it says in the Bible, but woe to the man who is alone when he falls and has no one to lift him up. Guys, we got to stop playing. If you're stuck in that place and you can't keep your word and make that commitment because you don't have anybody holding you accountable. Now, you don't need accountability or need to quote that much accountability if you're keeping your word to God, because that's between you and God. But if, like you said, Z, but if that's not enough, you got to get others. Now, I can tell you, you should get others regardless, even if you're doing it on the first level, just to protect yourself. Because we can walk in self-deception thinking we can do it by ourselves. That's a lie from the enemy. Keep your word to God, then get somebody else to help you keep your word to God. Is this making sense? Now I'm rambling, but let me know, guys. Write in the comments. Let me know if I'm making, because I want you guys to stop me if I'm getting off track and I'm getting too complicated or confusing. Let me know, because man, I'll just keep going. And so that's the second step. That's the second tier of the ladder, right? We make a decision, then we trust and tell. Now again, that should be enough. That should be enough. But you know what happens? We get hard-headed. That sometimes for some people, they ain't enough. So we got to go to the third rung on the ladder. Y'all ready for it? I don't like this too much, but I've had to go there myself. Then if that doesn't work, you got to set a price. You got to set a price. Now, when I say set a price, come up with a cost for not keeping your word or not following through on what you told them you would do. Simple as that. Come up with a cost for not keeping your word or following through on what you told them you would do. Thank you, Kareem. Kareem said this is making sense. Good. Selima said, yeah, Z. All right. Making sense. All right. But set a price. Now, let's get real about this. Everybody wants a good deal. We want a good deal. We love the word free. That's some commercial that, what's that? I forgot what commercial it is, but it's always saying free, 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 free. We love the word free. But guess what? Even free has a cost. Just because you didn't pay for it doesn't mean it wasn't a cost attached to it. But the problem is we keep wanting free. Free, 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 free. We don't want to pay anything. We don't want it to cost us anything. The truth is, though, you pay attention to what you pay for. Now, let me let that sink in for just a second. The truth is, we pay attention to what we pay for. Think about when you rented an apartment and when you owned your first home. Notice how you paid a little bit more attention when you bought your house as opposed to when you were renting and somebody else owned the apartment. When we put something in it, we pay attention to it. So a lot of times, step one should be enough. The ladder one should be enough. Ladder two, step two, that should be enough. But sometimes we got to go to the next level. It has to cost us something. It has to cost us something because we pay attention to what we pay for. See, if it didn't cost you anything, then you're probably not going to appreciate it. Think about that. More than likely, if it didn't cost you anything, you're not going to really fully appreciate it. Think about us in our faith and walking in Christianity, because I know we have believers who watch this, and people who are non-believers may not understand what it is to give your life to Christ. But a lot of us, we give our lives to Christ and we don't take our faith seriously. We don't take our faith seriously. You know, I keep seeing a piece of my shirt. I didn't show you guys the shirt I'm wearing. It says, His love, His life, my salvation. You see that in His grip. His love, His life. Guess what it cost Jesus? His life. It cost Jesus everything. But salvation to us was free. It was free. And that's why we abuse God's grace. That's why we don't take our faith seriously. Because it didn't cost us anything, but it cost Him everything. It cost God everything. It cost Him His only Son. But man, if you're wise enough to realize that, wait a minute, my salvation was free, but it cost Jesus His life. Now, what does that have to do about making a commitment? I'm going to show you what I mean by cost. All right. Now, we have to attach a cost to it. Now, I'm going to give you an example with me. Make a decision. I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to do it. Then I tell another brother, usually guys in our ministry, in our organization, to hold me accountable to it. Z's my assistant. Z's going to hold me accountable to a lot of stuff. Because Z, I'm going to do this. Now hold me accountable to it. So we got step one, step two. I'm making a commitment, a decision, making a commitment. I'm trusting somebody I'm telling somebody I trust. Now I put a cost to it. Here's how you put a cost. In the Real Men 300, we have this thing called a change goal. A change goal. Every week when we get together, we set a 7-day goal. A 7-day goal of what we want to accomplish within 7 days. In 7 days. And it has to be specific. It has to be measurable. It has to be realistic. I can't say I'm going to read the Bible in 7 days. That ain't going to happen. But guess what I can? I'm going to read a chapter a day for 7 days. I'm going to journal about my time with God for 7 days. I'm going to go out with my wife on a date day on Friday. That stuff is measurable. But here's the thing. Remember, make a decision. A commitment, not a choice, a commitment. I get somebody I tell to trust. Now, I participate in this myself. And I give my change goal every week. Now, every week we ask each other, did you do your change goal from last week? Now, here's the thing. There's times when I don't do what I said I was going to do within 7 days. Follow me on this. I made the decision, but didn't keep the commitment. I had them hold me accountable. Now they're asking me, and I didn't do it. So guess what happens for the next 7 days? I must do that thing again in 7 days. I got 7 days to do it again. In other words, I blew it the first 7 days. The next 7 days is coming along. Here's what we mean by set a price. This is what I tell guys. If I haven't done it after the first week, it depends on how many guys are on the call. We break up our groups. We break up our groups into groups of 8 in our calls, if you kind of picture this in your head. And so I'm one of 7 other guys in a small group. And I said, no, I didn't reach my goal from last week to read 7 chapters in 7 days. I didn't do it. If I don't do it next week, here it is, setting the price. I will pay each of you on this call $100. Did you catch that? You heard what I just said? I will pay each one of you on this call $100 each. Do the math. 7 guys. How much is that? That's $700. Now, before you said, Joe, so you rolling like that, bro? Man, you rolling like that? No, whoa, slow your roll. We've been doing this ministry for a long time. Guess how much money I've had to pay out to any brother? You got it. 0, because I'm cheap. All right. I don't want to pay those brothers money. So guess what I'm going to do in the next 7 days? I'm going to break my back to make sure I do it. See, does that make sense? All of a sudden, I got a real dose of commitment now because I do not want to shell out $100 each to each person. What does that tell you? I am serious. I am serious about keeping this word. And now it's going to cost me something. See, I gave you my word, and for some reason, I didn't keep it in 7 days. And I told you to ask me about it in 7 days. And I didn't do it. So now, guess what? I got to get more serious. And I'm going to put something on the line that is going to cost me. Now, in totality, $100 really is nothing compared to what Jesus did. Jesus gave it all. Now, if $100 would be painful to me, because I ain't got that kind of money, if $100 would be that painful to me, how much was the cost that Jesus did for his life, giving it up for us? How much did it cost Jesus for our salvation, for our freedom, for our victory? Guys, we're not changing because we're not keeping our word. We're not following through. We're not keeping our commitments. But I'm telling you, you want to keep your commitments? Try this. I'm telling you. Now, you would think that would do it, right? No, there's a 4th step. Now, I never had to get to the 4th one yet, and you'll see why. Please don't let it get to the 4th step. Please, I'm begging you. Don't let it get to the 4th step. Now, nothing's bad is going to happen to you other than you're not going to ever see change if you don't. But if you really want to force change, the 4th step should do it. But let me quickly review. What did we say? Step 1. Make a decision. That's not a choice, a commitment. 2, trust and tell somebody who's going to stand by your side and get in your face and challenge you to it to make sure that you do it. Step 3, set a price. But I forgot the biblical foundation for this. And boy, this is one of the, this is a very telling scripture. This came from Jesus. And I did write this down. And Jamie, if you want this Bible reference, this is a great one. John 14, 26 through 30. John 14, 26 through 30. I wrote this one down. And I love this passage, and it is very convicting when it comes to set the cost, set a price. Jesus is saying this. He says, if anyone comes to me, listen to this, and does not hate his own father and mother, what is it going to cost you to follow me? He says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which one of you, check it out, when he wants to build a tower, does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to complete it. Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, not follow through, not keep his word, not deliver, all who will observe, everyone around you who will observe, will begin to ridicule him. Liar, liar, unreliable, can't depend on him. Don't trust him, I can't trust him. Saying this man began to build and was not able to finish. Do you want to become that kind of man or woman who is ridiculed by others by not following through, not keeping your word, not doing what you say you're going to do, not delivering on your promises? Do you want to be that person? Jesus said it comes with the cost. It comes with the cost. So if you have to, set a price. And here's the last one. Here's the last one. I hope you don't get this far. Thank God I haven't been this far yet. Step 4, make it painful. He said, Joe, the cost wasn't painful. Obviously not enough if that doesn't do it for you. But I can almost guarantee this one will. Make it painful. Don't let it get to that, because now you're inflicting harm on yourself. See, the other ones was for your benefit. This one, now I guess if you can't afford to pay somebody $100 a person, I guess that can hurt you too. But this is going to hurt even deeper than money. This goes a lot deeper. All you lose is money. But on this one, it's going to hurt your soul. Make it painful. I pray you don't have to go this far. All right? But if you really want to make a commitment, make it painful. Come up with something that you hate doing. You detest it. You don't believe in it. It frustrates you. Think about what I just said. Get that in your mind right now. I want you to think of something. Come up with something you hate doing. I ain't talking about stuff you promised to do. I'm talking about something you absolutely hate. I'm talking about detest. I ain't talking about, I just dislike it. No, it bores you up that you just want to fight somebody over it. You hate doing it. You don't believe in it. You're against it. It frustrates you. And here's what I want you to do. If you don't keep your word, promise that person who you was going to hold you accountable, I want you to give your time or donate your money to that. Remember, I was going to give $100 to my brothers. If worse come to worse, if I had to give that money to them, I'm blessing one of my brothers. They're my friends. There's a difference between me giving money to my friends and then to me giving money to a cause I don't, and I adamantly that I'm opposed to, that I don't believe in, that goes against my faith, that goes against my trust and my belief. I pray you don't have to go that far, because I want you to really think about that. Something you hate, something you don't believe in, something that you're against or frustrates you. Then give your time or donate, or both, or donate your money to it. It can be as simple. Now I'm going to start with something simple to something more serious. It can be as simple as this, but it may be serious from other people, of wearing your opposing team's, rivals team's jersey to work. Wearing it to work. Now I'm saying this, I said this is simple. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I love the Miami Dolphins. I grew up in Miami, born and raised in Miami. I love the Dolphins. Do you know what it would take for me to wear New England Patriots jersey on a call, at a conference, to speak on a stage, wearing New York Jets or Buffalo Bills I hate all of them. I hate the Patriots. I hate the Bills. I hate the Jets. I used to hate the Colts because they were in our division, but I still don't like them, but I don't hate them as much anymore. Now, that's, to me, is simple. That is simple, but I still don't want to do that. I can't stand those teams. That's something simple. Hey, Damon joined. What's happening, Damon? What's happening, brother? I've been trying to get Damon to join the 300. That's one of my boys. He needs to be in the 300. But that's one of the simple things. Wearing a team opposing jersey. But let's get more serious. Y'all ready to get more serious on this? Make a charitable contribution to a group that you hate or can't stand or opposed against. What if you don't commit to doing what you say you're going to do? What if I say, okay, if I don't do it, now that $100 that I was going to get to my boys, that didn't work. I gave them $100. Joe, that didn't work. Now you see why I haven't gotten to this level. Then I'm going to take that $100 and I'm going to give it to the clan. Hello. Or to another hate group. Did you catch it? I'm going to give $100 to, if I don't do this, then I'm going to give to Al-Qaeda, or however we want to pronounce it, to a terrorist group. That's extreme, but you get the point. Give to something you don't support because you can't keep your word. You don't have enough integrity at step one to keep your word to God. You don't have enough trust in your friends to hold you accountable. Your pockets are deep and you don't mind paying the cost. Well, get something that's going to bother you on the inside just as much. Give to a political party you don't support or you're opposed to, a political candidate that you can't stand or you don't like. Give to that cause. I guarantee you, guess what? You'll do it then, because it keeps me keeping my word, because I do not want to give to a cause I don't support. Give to an activist group that you don't support. Don't let it get that far. I'm praying that it doesn't get that far. Is this making, Dame said, I caught that. Is this making sense? See, because when you do that, now it bothers your heart. And you're going to have a heart condition that's like, what? I'm opposed to abortion and I'm giving to support abortions? That'll get me to take action. I don't know about you. I'm going to follow through and keep my word, because I do not want to give to a cause I don't believe in, I don't support, that goes against my God, that grieves God, that God despises. God, let it not be so. That I give to something that you can't stand. Things to get you out of the school system. Things that goes against my values, my belief. God, if that's the only thing, if I got to be disciplined that roughly, I will give to something I hate in order for me to keep my word, God, to you, to others, and more importantly, to myself. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Guys, keeping your word isn't as difficult as we make it to be. It isn't. And see, I'm hoping, does this help? It's not as difficult as we make it to be. Your goal should be, now listen to me, your goal should be to become the most honest, reliable, and trustworthy person the people close to you know. Think about the people who are closest to you. You should become the most honest, reliable, and trustworthy person they know. Now, you don't have to be perfect. Listen to me. Don't hear what I'm not saying. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be believable. Somebody need to write that down. You know, what'd you say down here, Kareem? I can tell Joe does. See, Kareem, you're getting ahead of me. The people who know me, like Kareem, like Damon, like me, y'all know my reputation. I keep my word. Not perfectly, but I keep it. Because I am not going to get to that fourth rung that I'm going to give to something I hate. I'm not going to do that. If I got to pay you money, I'll do it before I get to step 4. But I'm going to keep my word. You got to become the most reliable and dependable and trustworthy person the people close to you know. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be believable. I got to share a quick story with you. We're going a little bit long, but I got to share this quick story with you. And I'm making this public now so you guys will know about it. I'm really close to my siblings. Now, I'm the oldest of 3 siblings. You know, I'm the oldest. Got a brother and I got a sister. And my sister came up with the bright idea that we should get family tattoos that shows our bond as siblings. Now you say, Joe, that's kind of cool. Yeah, what a wonderful idea. Tattoos. Y'all got to know me. Ask my wife. I don't have any tattoos on my body whatsoever. I don't have a problem with people who do. Knock yourself out. My wife has tattoos. My daughter has tattoos. My sons have tattoos. Daddy doesn't have a tattoo. I don't do tattoos. I don't think it's evil or wicked. I just don't do it. Well, my siblings, I was the only holdout. Everybody's agreed to get tattoos for the siblings except for me. So my sister says, man, Joe, I can't believe you're holding out. You know, we love each other and everything. This is what this is gonna bond us and everything that. And now they're not even talking about something big. They're talking about something small that I can put on my hand, on my wrist, or something like that. But I'm opposed to tattoos. So I came up with something for myself. You know what, guys? Because they just kept ragging me about it, ragging me about it. We talk every 2 weeks. We get on a Zoom call together. So we're ragging, and then finally I came up with this idea. I said, okay, I'll get a tattoo if y'all promise me that you will do something. I'm giving my word that if you do something for me. They said, what's that? I said, if you guys stop drinking. Alcohol, that is. Now, they don't get drunk and they're not abusing alcohol. But I know it's a vice that they have. See, our family has a history of alcoholism in it. And I'm always fearful that my siblings will eventually cross the line and they're going to become addicted to alcohol. I'm the only one in our family that doesn't drink. I don't drink. So I don't have any tattoos. I don't drink. So I told them that thinking that would shut them up. And now they're going to leave me alone about this tattoo thing, right? So guess what? It didn't shut them up. They said, okay, that's it. That's all we got to do. We stop drinking and you'll get a tattoo. I said, absolutely. I will get a tattoo. They give each other high fives. We just met each other. We got together last month. They give each other high fives. Oh, we gonna do this. We gonna do this. Joe gonna get a tattoo. Da 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 da. I said, all right, y'all gotta stop drinking. And then on the call, we just had our Zoom call last weekend, and my brother said this. My sister's on the call too. They said, now Joe, we're gonna stop drinking. Now you promise you gonna get your tattoo if we stop drinking. Here's what I said to my brother and sister. Love it. I said, when have I ever not kept my word to you? Now, why did I love it? Because they shut up. Now, think about that statement for a second. I'm 52 years old. I'm the oldest. My sister is 51. My brother is 47. I've known them my whole life. And I asked them the question, when have I ever not kept my word to you? They had no response. Did you catch that, Damon? You say, when you say I caught it, did you catch that? Who knows me better than my siblings? Who knows all the dirt, all the mistakes, the faults and flaws that I have better than my siblings? And we're close. And they couldn't say, I remember the time you lied to me about blank. I remember you said, Joe, you were going to do this and you didn't do it. Remember, our job is to become the most reliable, honest, trustworthy person, the closest to us that they know. My question to you as we close this out is, are you that person? Are you becoming that person? More importantly, does God want you to be that person? Absolutely. Let your yays be yays, your nays be nays. Anything else is from the devil. It's from the evil one. Keep your word. And now you know how. Don't let it get to step 4. Do it at step 1 when you give your word to God and make your commitment to God and yourself and your promise to yourself. But always seek accountability. Somebody you can trust to tell them to and say, hey, this is what I told God that I'm going to do. Make sure I do it. Ask me about it. Worst comes to worst, put a cost to it. And hopefully you'll never get to being stubborn enough that you got to support something that you hate. Guys, if you found this lesson and this information valuable, please share it with someone on Facebook. We share everything else. Why not help people become a better person by keeping their word to you and to other people? Share this on Facebook. And if you need help, support, or training in walking this out consistently, that's the key. My brother and sister prove to you that I've been keeping my word consistently. You can ask my wife the same question. When has he not kept his word to you? Ask my kids, when has he not kept his word to you? Ask my friends, ask Kareem. When has he not kept his word to you? Ask Damon, ask Mika, when has he not kept his word to you? Anyone who knows me personally, I'm going to break my back to keep my word. I may not do it perfectly, but I'm going to do it at whatever cost because I want to be that person that you can rely on, you can trust, and you can depend on. And God wants us to be that kind of person. Are you ready? So share this with them. And also, and if you need help, support, or training, walking this out, I work with men one-on-one, and we have a team of brothers who can help you win and hold you accountable, who is standing on your by your side and get in your face and challenge you, not only in this area of your life, but also in the other harder areas of your life that matters most and even frustrates you the most as a man. And if you'd like to find out more or talk to me personally on how we can help you, just email me or DM me for details. And I think that information is somewhere up or below this video, this feed. So please do that. All right. Z said, thank you for a great start to my day. All right. And Z, that's right. Z, we're going to be talking in just a couple of minutes anyway. But thank you, Z, for coming. Guys, spread the word. And if God is willing, I'll be here next Friday, same time, different topic. And as you guys see, I'm bringing topics that's relevant, that's important, that's impactful, that would hopefully change your life and bless your life. To God be the glory. So stay strong, stay blessed, stay connected because real men and women do connect. But most importantly, stay in God's grip. Stay in his grip, guys. And I'll see you next week. Love you guys. Take care.